My full name is Magindran Kupusamy. I'm your big data trainer today. So let's share a bit about me before we go into today's topic about big data. My experience, I started as a project manager, basically in oil and gas. After that, I came into a training industry as a project management trainer. About 6 years after I got my master in master MBA and specialized or major in project management. After that, I switched my training into big data, which is about 6 to 7 years back. Almost 7 years, I've done training I think more than about 5,000 participants, from a university student to a corporate like a Petronas, Maybank, RHB Bank, MDAC, MCMC, Scope in Sarawak, Jabatan Bekalan Air Luar Bandar Sarawak, and I can name it actually, like all number of corporate companies. And with all this experience, and I also certified a big data trainer. And recently, about 2 years back, I completed my PhD from University of Greenwich, major in big data. So if you ask me about big data, yes, I can say that I have a very good experience, but big data is something that you need to learn every day. There's no such thing that I know everything about big data. Big data is something that I need to learn every day, because new applications and new systems, new way of analyzing it. So these are the new things is always there. That means I can say on the daily basis, we can see a lot of new things. So I need to keep learning. And the same thing, whoever interested in big data is something that you are required to learn. You know, if you ask me, I'll tell you on the daily basis, because things are keep changing. All right, so let me share my slides for today. Making the leap into big data. Before we go into detail of big data, so I would like to tell you, when we talk about big data, how big is the data? How big is the data? So everyone, you know, in their mind, whenever I go into any seminar or webinar or even in the training, you know, the first thing they will ask is, what is the big data? How big is the data? Actual fact, there's no specific size when we talk about big data. A simple way to explain, anything that you cannot transmit through email or anything that you cannot send via your WhatsApp, you need to put it into a Google Drive or any cloud-based system, or anything that is stored in a server. That's what we call big data. Once it's already in the server or in the cloud, or you have to put it like in a Google Drive, doesn't matter what is the size. That's what we call data, and is considered big data. All right, this is what a simple terms we can call it is a big data. So let's look at making the leap into big data. Okay, this is about GKK, my training partner. Basically, they are into a training industry since 2011, and they have trained more than about 5,000 professionals. You can see in the screen, and they also currently very much focus into certifying retrenched people, and also doing a placement. At the same time, they are into a webinars as well. This is part of their employment insurance systems to provide aid into form of education finance to retrenched Malaysian professionals who are contributing to EIS. EIS is like a EPF SOCSO during their employment. Okay, as I said, what is big data analytical? If you look at it, big data analytics is the often complex process of examining big data to uncover information such as hidden pattern, correlation, market trend, customer preference that can help organizations to make decisions. Okay, to make decisions, basically business decisions. If you ask me, if about 10 or 15 years back, big data for everyone is something go through IT. Okay, it must be an IT department or IT company. They are the one always provide this kind of services. Now it's no longer IT department. Big data by itself, every organization required a big data guy to be there. In terms of big data also, this may categorize to two. One, big data or data analyst or data scientist. People always get confused with this term, analyst and science. So what is analyst? What is science? A simple differences. The terms used by the organization is up to them what kind of terms that they wanted to use. Okay. Sometimes they call data scientists, basically the job function, basically the data scientist, what they do analysis. They do analytical jobs. Sometimes they call data analytic, but the job function is basically more into a programming, or they need to know how to use Python because they need to work on extracting data. So the terms of data analyst or data scientist is basically depend on the organization. Sometimes they call data mining, sometimes they call data developer, sometimes they call data management. So all these things is just a title. But there's a two different in data analytics or data analysis or data scientist. One non-programming, another one is programming. Okay, what is the difference between programming and non-programming? Programming is basically those who knows about Python, Hadoop, Spark, and few more other languages, which is very commonly used in big data world. So, and data analyst is basically they know how to analyze the data. Doesn't matter, even in Excel. If you know how to use Excel, Excel itself, it is a powerful tool to do data analysis. A lot of people think when I'm asking about Excel, even in many Excel trainings, when asked, how's your Excel? If I ask you to read, immediately they will read, they read themselves 4/5, 3/5. But after the training, maybe after day of the first half day of the training, they found out, hey, Excel got a lot more to learn. It's basically do sum or divide or minus or something like that. The first thing, whoever want to learn about data analysis, go into Excel first. Excel is one of the powerful tool for analysis. That's why I always say, even in our programs, we have a 3 days program, we have a 5 days program. The first thing that they must learn is Excel. Without knowing the Excel, for me, that you will never going to learn anything else in data analysis, because Excel is the first step for you coming to a data analytical world. The moment you know data analytical world, then only you need to learn other things. Okay, data visualizations, and you need to learn Power BI, Tableau, data storytelling, and there are few things. Another application is NIM, KNIM, is very powerful data analytical tool. Even you can troubleshoot, or you can do work. It means you can take the Python programming, you can analyze it. It means you can use Python application into NIM. Doesn't matter whether you know programming or not. If you learn NIM, you can be a data scientist, or you can be data analysis. You can use NIM. So these are the languages that you need to know if you are into a data analytics. I cannot say a language. It's not a language. It's basically applications, the app. So that's a difference. If you think the data scientist or the programming part, there where you need to learn about Python, and you need to learn about Hadoop or Spark or R or something like that. What is the opportunity in the market? Before even I go into deeper into big data analytical today, what is the opportunity in the job market? The job market want people to do data analytics. People want somebody can analyze the data and tell me what I have to do now in order for me to get more sales, more business. So what is my forecast? So what is my business direction based on my data or based on my competitor data? So it's basically the opportunity is more into a data analytics. But for data scientists, basically, if you are more into a programming, say example, you are well versed with Python, or you need to learn, you think that I want to learn Python because I want to be a data scientist, or I want to be a data analytics. Python or any other programming language basically used to extract the data. Basically, say example, it's our politician. Just put an example of politician. So I want to know for this particular politician, how many people are talk good about him? How many people talk bad about him? What kind of messages? What kind of hashtag is going on? So basically, if you know the tool, if you know the API, you basically can go in and extract all this data. So these are the tools that programming has that you can easily can extract. But once you extract, it depends whether you want to use it Python to do your data visualization, or you want to give it to a data analyst to analyze using a Tableau or Power BI or Excel or any other like NEM or something like that. So very much depend in what direction that you wanted to go. But if you think that I want to be a data analyst, then don't worry about the programming. Programming is the basically is something that you need to learn once you understand about data analysis. Okay, let's talk about big data analytic and decision. What is this all about? What is hidden pattern? What is correlation? What is market trend? What is a customer preference? In big data analytical, the first thing an analyst is basically most of the business or most of the organization, what they wanted to see is what will be my predictive analytics. It means they want you to predict what's going to happen. Most of the people, they're not really want to know what has happened. It means the past. They don't really not really concerned about the past, because based on the data, they want to know what is the direction of the business. So as a data analysis or data analytic or data, the guy who analyzing the data, you need to come out with the trend. What kind of trend are we in? Okay, if you look at market trend, what kind of trend that the market? Okay, so I just give you an example in my experience with one bank. Basically, there's a particular town. In this particular town, they have all the banks, even like I can tell you all the foreign banks, all the local banks, all the banks are there. So when we analyze the data, we came to know this particular bank, they have a customer or client which is age 55 and above. I can say 50% of their customer is 50 or 55 above. So all of them just wondering, how come we don't know that we have this kind of customer? It means their age is about 50, 55. First of all, the bank CEO would like to know why this particular branch, I have this kind of sector, this kind of skill of customers. Why? First. Second, if I have people in age of 55 and above, I cannot sell the same product that I'm selling to those in age of 20 or 30 or cross the board. Normally, you look at a bank, all the bank across the board, they're selling same kind of product. Basically, if like mutual fund, they will sell all mutual fund. If they have kind of insurance, they will sell all the insurance. If they got some kind of interesting loan package, they sell all kind of loan packages. Just imagine the guy coming, in the age of 55. Do you think that I give him a package of you save for money, another 20 years time you're going to make so much? He don't care. He wants something short term. So basically, the bank came to know, yeah, with these 55 or 60 or 50 above or clients or customer, I cannot sell them the same thing. So how do we found out? It's all based on the data. From the data, we came to know, hey, your client in this particular branch, 50% of them is 50 years old and above, or 55 years old and above. Okay, firstly, the CEO want to know why is such in my bank? Only why in this particular branch? So after that, what we have to do? So we ask them the customer, those in the counter, whatever. We start asking them, why you prefer this bank? What we got to know? Basically, there's a parking in front of the bank. There's a free parking in front of the bank. Basically, the land is belong to a majlis, and there's a free parking all the while since the bank started 15 years. There's a parking. The parking is not belong to anyone. It's basically people come, they just park and come. So then we came to know, oh God, because of the parking, that is the one drive these people. So these people are basically, then we came to know those above 50 or 55, they not prefer with the bank logo. They prefer with this kind of additional parking, or easy to, from the parking to the bank, the distance, something like that. So now the bank decided, okay, now I need to change the product that I'm selling. Took about 3 years for them to turn around that particular branch into selling a different kind of product, which is more suitable. So if you look at it, big data analytic, or how do we get to know this? Is by doing data analysis. So this is one example. So let's look at oil and gas. The same thing, one of the oil and gas company, which is quite big oil and gas company in Malaysia. So I don't want to mention the name. Basically, most of us, all I think I can tell you about 70% of those going to fuel station, they have this loyalty card. All of us, the loyalty card basically is a card for me to get a point and redeem. Do you know that there's much more than that for the oil company? For them, that card shows who the people who stay surrounds me, what is the number of people stays around me, from the same house, how many cars is there, the guy who come and fill every morning, do he come inside the station buy anything? If you buy, what kind of product he buys, what kind of product that I have to display in front of the counter, what the product that do I need to display in front. So for us, just a loyalty card for redeem the point to get anything, anything, any gift or whatever. But for them, it's much more than that. This is, I'm talking oil and gas. So any industry need data analyst. So that's why data analyst become a job or the important factor of any organization in order for them to make business decisions. What kind of trend is happening out there? So what kind of trend what people talking about me in social media, all those things can be done only through data analytics. That's why big data, analytics, and decisions. Data classification. So when we talk about data, so what is data? What is data classification? How do we classify this data? There are few type of classification, but here I would like to show only three, which is structured, unstructured, and multi-structured. What is structured data? What is unstructured data? What is multi-structured? So, but there are few more, but here I summarize this into structured, unstructured, and multi-structured. What is structured? Any data that keep in the server, in the system, or in a cloud base, or anything that in any organization, they have like finance data, HR data, project data, and like accounts data, marketing data, all those things they keep nicely in a server with a partition, with the folders nicely. It doesn't matter whether it's in cloud or in office server, anything. That's what we call structured data. That means in the mainframe system, SQL server, any organization like a bank, oil and gas, any organization that they have this data into a system, doesn't matter whether their own system, own server, or that is in cloud, that's what we call structured data. What is unstructured data? Unstructured data, so simple, social media. Anything in social media is called unstructured because we need to extract the data, then we need to make it a structured in order for us to analyze. You cannot just take the data and analyze. When we talk about unstructured data in social media, please remember, you and me is just a data for social media. Must remember, it's because we are the one who contribute to this data. Every likes, every images we upload, every comments that we put, every single thing, that's what we call data. That's why we said you must be very careful what you talk in social media, what we say in the social media, because a lot of work is happening at the back of it where they're extracting. Say example, I'm talking about the leader of the country, something bad. Do you know that when we extract every single words, say example, there's a very good recently, like they put the hashtag of Raja Gagal. Basically, the people who are analyzing, they know which account is talking about this. That's how the data works. That is what we call analyzing data. So basically, social media we call unstructured data. Any traffic like signals, unstructured data also comes from hospitals. Unstructured data, when I talk about hospital, all the images, all the x-ray, all those things nowadays is all computerized, but nobody analyzing it. Okay, if you need to analyze, you need to extract the data, you need to put in a structured manner, then only it's go into the analytical. Multi-structured and hybrid, like example, the loyalty cards. How many companies that have a loyalty card, really they are using it for business purpose? Many of them nowadays have the loyalty, but they not really take into analytical mode. So when they don't do this, basically the data is there, but we consider multi-structured because they're not collecting the data to analyze. They're collecting the data maybe for a loyalty purpose. like other third-party data, where the currency conversion, maybe the banks will do, but how many of normal organization or like people like us, you and me, are doing it? Demographic and so on, many things. Okay, and all these like the post, poll, IREDI, RFID. I can tell you RFID, like example, touch and go RFID. Even most of the car now already fitted. All those things we call multi-structured. Basically, all this data is not for analyze. They only take to analyze whenever there's a requirement. So this is what we call multi-structured data. Characteristic of big data. Okay, what is characteristic of big data? It is about volume. Huge amount of data now in a day is there. It's from social media, from RFID, from a loyalty card, from many sectors. There are many people or many kind of data. When even in the phone, every application nowadays is already start asking you, can I track all other data, all other applications, all these things that what we call volumes. It means the volume drive into a data, big data. Variety, different format of data from various sources. Value, extract useful data. There are so much of data available, but how many of us are extracting? The moment you extract, you make use of the data, then it's become a value for that particular data. Velocity, high speed of accumulation of data. Which one is velocity data? The banks, the ATM card, the moment you put in, you pin your PIN number, you're withdrawing your money in ATM. That's what we call velocity. Things are fast data, high speed, high speed of accumulation of data. Banks, basically, I can tell you most of the time velocity is the banks, credit cards, so on. Veracity, inconsistencies and uncertainty in data. Okay, this one you will see later. Okay, let's continue. So here, I would like to share something that about big data. Everyone know that about Starbucks. Do you know that Starbucks? Everybody know that Starbucks is a coffee company. I mean, selling coffee. We go there, we hang around. If you want to have high quality coffee, then we will go to Starbucks, and the coffee is very nice. Their bean is one of the high quality bean. The bean comes from powerful factory, so on. There are many things. That's why Starbucks always stands number one when it comes to a coffee. But do you know that Starbucks no longer a coffee company or coffee cafe, or it is in the cafe coffee business. They are into a big data business. So that's when I say they are into big data business, a lot of people asking how can they're basically collecting data. Based on the data, they are into a few type of business. The number one business now they are into is real estate. Okay, basically they go there the moment they have data. The first thing what they do, they start to buy the properties around that area and start to go into a big data. Into a real estate. Just go into Google and you check. The same thing, McDonald's. 3 years back, 3 or 5 years back, they have invested the first investment in a decade, which is about 300 million. They went in and bought a company, a big data company, for 300 millions. Okay, the first thing when they bought the company, everybody thought they're going to have a lot of changes in their menu or the way they want to do a drive-through. Yes, that is part of it. But actual fact, they bought this big data company is to analyze their production. The first thing they came to know that the bun sizes 3 or 4 years back, if you and me go and buy a burger, you may get a different size of bun and I may get a different size of bun, but nobody knows. Basically, they found out the bun size, the bun size, actual effect, it's a different. That means everyone get a different size of bun because there's no standardization. Even they have the standardization, the system is not really producing the standardized size of bun. So how do they do that? They basically take thousand of images of the bun, they analyze it using data analytics, and they found out if I can standardize the size of bun, basically I can save million of dollars. So the first thing, within 2 years, they have got their money back. That means the ROI basically just analyze and get the bun size right. The next is is definitely about the menu and the drive-through. In some Western country, they use based on the weather. That means the menu, even in your application, or if you drive through, or you go into their outlet, the counter, the menu keep changing according to the weather. If there's a rain, heavy rain, or hot suns, or snow, whatever, the menu keep changing according to the weather. That's how they went in. They use big data. And there's one story in what happened in some part of US where the daughter wants the father to go and buy something from a McDonald's. So what the father did, okay, let's order and I'll go to self pick. So once the father ordered and he went to the counter to pick, the moment he wanted to go and pick the order, the guy or the girl who were in the counter said, "Hey, congratulations, you're going to be a grandfather." I'm going to be a grandfather. My daughter is now only 16 years old. What you're talking about? What is this all about? Oh, they say, no, you basically, based on our data shows that your daughter is pregnant. So he just got shocked about it. And basically he came back and, he asked his daughter and yes, the daughter said, yes, I'm pregnant. Hey, how come the McDonald's know that you are pregnant? Basically, the daughter have gone check in Google, what is the symptom of pregnancy? So just imagine in what level they are taking the data and analyzing it. They try to be a customer oriented, the kind of things. So basically, they take this kind of data. So everything that we search, just imagine what kind of thing. That's where the thing started. Like example, like there are many other reasons why nowadays they say accept the cookies. Every website you go, you need to accept. Basically, when the moment you say accept, you are giving them, telling them they take whatever, everything. Basically, the moment you accept, they can extract every single thing, every of your search, every information that you type, anything in your computer. If that is got to link with cookies, easily they can extract. Okay, let's continue. Okay, why I'm giving this as an example. So that's why I said big data analytics or data analyst is in everywhere now. Every organization required this capability. The first thing, again, I would like to repeat, where Excel is your stepping zone in your big data career. If you don't know Excel, then it will be very difficult to understand about analytical. I don't know how many of you all know in Excel there's one tools called data analysis. Many of you all not aware there's one tool called data analysis, another tools called forecast. Data analysis you need to activate in Excel. That means you have to go into Excel, you need to activate. So since we are here, let me show you this. Okay, let me go into Excel and I'd like to show you this. Excel can do wonders in data analytics. I'm not data Excel trainer, yeah, but normally we come to package, we will train about 2 days about data analytics. Lot of things that you need to know. Example, you go here in the ribbon, then you go for data. You can see this one. I can bet to you most of your Excel don't have this data analysis. So this is data analysis. If you click here, all the analytical tools here, like two-factor with replication, correlation, descriptive statistic, many things, predictive analytic, regression analysis. So there are many things is here. So that's why I said data analysis is all about that you need to understand. If you know how to use this, then they will be very easy for you to learn programming languages, because the fundamental starts from here. Okay, let's go back to our slides. What happens in a minute in internet? This is how the internets are contributing to a data. If you look at it, 61,141 hours of music, 20 million photo views, 3,000 photo uploads, all these in a minute, 100,000 new tweets in a minute. So basically, data is flowing like nobody business. But where all this data is going, where all this data is being stored, basically all this data is available anywhere, anytime. If, for example, you want to extract something from Google, it's not a big deal. Just go to Google, you can extract. If you know the API, if you know how to extract, there are a lot of tools available on the internet. You can download and you can start analyzing it. I'd like to give one example. How McDonald's Cafe, McCafe starts. Do you know that since McCafe starts, it's about 30% of Starbucks customer is the one become the customer of McCafe. Why they started McCafe is basically an individual, a person just take the data, analyze it, and sold this to McDonald's, the idea. So basically, a lot of people, the parents, is goes to the McDonald's basically for their kids. So the moment the kid is there, so what the parents or the family, the father or mother would like to enjoy. So that's where they started of McCafe. So this is an individual, and it's not the organization, whatever. Basically, extract and analyze. A lot of people in the market now, basically, they just choose a business, they do all this analytical, basically they sell the analyze, whatever they have analyzed to the any organization. Basically, any business, doesn't matter it's business, even a politician now, they need data analysts. They need to know what direction that I have to go, what direction, what kind of authors that I have, what people are talking about me. Everything is available in social media or in internet or Google. And I think you know what's happening in YouTube and so on. Okay, as I said earlier, Starbucks isn't it a coffee business? It is a data tech company. Starbucks doesn't simply huge number of hot and cold drinks around the world. It also gets a huge amount of data from over 100 million transactions a week. Okay, Starbucks is not short on data. It has about 30,000 stores worldwide and completes close to 100 million transactions per week. This gives it a comprehensive view of what is customer consume and enjoy. But perhaps surprisingly, it's only really focused on the value of this data a little over the can. Basically, they are focused on your data instead of the coffee that you buy. Okay, so this is what the example Starbucks. Definitely other companies also already started. We don't know. Okay, we need to check. When the new CEO took over, I think in the year 2018 or something like that, from from the owner, they appointed a new CEO for Starbucks 2018. Their share price is about $50, and within 2 years or 3 years, the share price shoot up to $100, almost to $100. Okay, so why? Basically, he came to know their market is stagnant in the country where they are in business. For example, they are in business in India. Basically, India is not a good company, good country to sell a coffee. And they are in Malaysia. Malaysia got no numbers, and they are in Singapore, no numbers. When they check it out, even they check in US, they have a high number of stores in US, but the sales are stagnant because of the competition. So basically, the new CEO decided based on the data, and he went to China. He sent people to China, asked to study. Based on the data shows, China is one of the country that very high coffee lovers. So basically, he came out idea. They wanted to open 15,000 stores. All these things available in Google. You just go to search. Okay. He decided to open about 15,000 outlets in I think within 5 years. Basically, every 3 days or 5 days, they want to have one new Starbucks coffee. So just imagine, it's all these things based on data. He sent a big number of team into China to get these numbers. They want to know the study. So which country that I need to go? The only thing in China that I need to give them my recipe. So it doesn't matter. I can change the recipe. So they went in and they managed to turn around their business. That's why the sales, you can go and check in, you just can go to Yahoo Finance immediately. You can check the Starbucks. Their shares shoot up within 2 years, is up to about $98 or something like that. So all these things is because of data. So why I'm giving this kind of example, even a food company, even F&B require data analysts to make a decision for their company. For example, how Starbucks use data, AI, and IoT for competitive advantage. Number one, targeting customer with personalized promotion and offers. Insight-driven product development, including across channel. Sophisticated real estate planning. Just imagine they are into a real estate planning. There's a message here. Let me read the message. Okay, it's not mine. Okay. Dynamic menu creation and adjustment. So basically, all these companies using a big data to change the menu according to the customer surround them. If like certain places they need, they have people like this kind of foods, so they can customize because they are using big data. Basically, data is the one drive Starbucks. This I'm giving a Starbucks, but just imagine all other F&B businesses or companies or organizations. And optimize machine maintenance. You all know they have very high expensive machines. Definitely they need a maintenance, so they need to make sure the maintenance also there's ROI based on the business. You cannot be simply wasting with. So they use data into optimizing the machine maintenance. Basically, company like Starbucks maximize the use of data. This is an example of Starbucks. I can tell you most of the F&B companies now into the using a big data for their business. McDonald's, quality improvement. Move from manual to automated inspection of burger bun production to ensure and improve quality. As I said earlier, basically their ROI of 300 million US dollar, they just got it within 2 to 3 years time, just by analyzing over 1,000 of our buns per minute for color, shape, seed distribution. Continually adjust the ovens and process automatically. Data is the one contributed to this, and their business decision turned out to be the best. Eliminate 1,000 of pounds of wasted product per year, speed production, save energy, reduce manual labor, and so on. Unlocking the big data treasure chest of aviation. Aviation, basically, if you name any aviation, basically they are into big data. With big data analytics, airlines can now better understand their customer, communicate directly with them, push for paid upgrades just before a flight, sell other travel-related products. Very good example is AirAsia. We all know AirAsia. So how do they come out with all these ideas? What kind of product that I need to sell for those who travel to Kuching, KK, India or Taiwan or Japan or whatever. So all these things, the decision is based on the data they have. What kind of people are they in my flight today? What kind of a drink that I need to sell? What kind of product that I need to have more stocks? Okay, fuel continues to be a major cost for all airlines, making engine fuel efficiency a critical area for managing costs. So basically using big data to analyze it. Unlocking the big data treasure chest for aviation. Japan Airlines, okay, they partner with IBM in order for them to get the passenger journey. What kind of app. If you look at it, the app delivers a boarding pass with QR code to passengers wearing Apple watches, alerting them on an ongoing basis to flight status, boarding gate, and so on, many things. Same thing, Singapore Airlines. Singapore Airlines signed a 5-year deal in June 2015 with Rolls-Royce to use latest big data analytical tool to reduce fuel consumption across its fleet of aircraft. Same thing, AirAsia. Everybody know about AirAsia. Basically, AirAsia also signed up with GE to implement navigation service, flight data analytics, fuel management, and they managed to save. They were looking at 30 to 50 million over a 5-year term. Jet Airways from India. So what you can see here, even airline industry, they need the big data. Okay. Okay, basically we are into our last slides. Big data analytics. When we talk about analytics, there are many type of analytics. Here is a simple example, which is we can talk about sentiment analysis. What are people talking about my product? What is the response that I get based on my new products? What is response on my my old products? So what kind of products do I need to introduce into markets? Social media analytics. Basically, I can tell you 99.9% of businesses into a social media. So basically, social media analytics also become an important factor in any organization, any business. For nowadays, if there's no Facebook, they call you no face. So Facebook become a compulsory for every business. You must have Facebook page. Most of the companies nowadays, they're not even using a website. They direct people into their Facebook page, LinkedIn page, and so on. And like fraud detection, also as is analytical analyst work, and financial risk analysis, like insurance companies. Any accidents comes on, they will use data to analyze customer segmentation. What kind of customer do I have? Product performance, campaign analytical, customer relationship management. So all these things. This is just an example here. There are many more analytical, prescriptive analytics, descriptive analytics. There are many types of analytics is required for businesses. Just simple example. You can go into Facebook page of Starbucks, and you go into a Facebook page of Secret Recipe. You will see two different kind of product, two different kind of response, two different kind of content they are posting it. If you look at Starbucks, basically Starbucks, they have a very large number of stores, and even you go into a Starbucks Malaysia or Starbucks International Facebook page, compare with Secret Recipes Facebook page in Malaysia. Secret Recipe, they have a lesser number of followers, but they have a high number of people respond to their content compared with Starbucks. So based on this, we know that content is plays an important role. So what kind of content that people like, what kind of food that Malaysians like, what kind of a product that I need to introduce, all these things based on analytical. If you really go and analyze it, all this, sorry, another things that my example most goes into all these products, because I work with all these companies for analytical. That's why, my example always comes, with the food, banks, and, oil and gas. So basically, these are some of the analytical terms that the companies use in order for them to make a business decisions. Okay. Another thing, insurance company, another big industry where they need a lot of data analysis. They need to analyze every single accident, car theft, and many more things. They are making a decision whether I need to pay them or I need to do a further investigation on these accidents. They use data, because by using a data, they know whether this guy record, what is in his past record, how many time accidents, whether I can sell the insurance to this guy, all based on analyzing it. When you talk about customer segmentation, what is customer segmentation? Okay, what kind of customer that I have? What kind of people are in Facebook? So many people think that, yes, everyone in Facebook. Actually, there is a small segment of people are not really in Facebook, but they are the important customer. How do I how do I going to get this customer? So what kind of analytical that I need to do? So by doing a customer segmentation, you will know what kind of customer you have, what kind of customer like to talk, not buying, or what kind of customer really buy and talk. Now, there are many types of analytical, and every industry we need analytic, and every industry there is a opening and demands for data analysis. And once again, data analyst or data scientist, there's no difference. Basically, nowadays, what the terms difference, but actual effect, when you look at it, the job function more or less same. And I can say, if you talk about data analyst, only two types of data analyst: one programming, another one non-programming. Non-programming, based on my experience, is much more demand compared with programming. Okay, because the guy who with the analytical mind, normally they are not very much into programming. The guy who is very good in programming, based on my experience, they're really not into a analytical mind. So that is my view based on my experience, work on number of organizations as a trainer and consultant, and some even recently I've been appointed into AstraZeneca to look into everybody knows AstraZeneca is vaccine. Actually, AstraZeneca is already exists in Malaysia for last, I think, 30 or 40 years. They just appointed me to analyze their sales team. So then only came to know most of the pharmaceutical company, they have a big data department by themselves. They have about 6 or 7 of them working there, analyzing the sales reports. Say example, in Johor, in Johor, what kind of product, what kind of medicine, what kind of product do I need to sell for hospital category, clinic category, pharmaceutical. So if you look at it, every industry, every organization, every company, they already are people, okay, working on data. So the opportunity for big data, the market is now. Okay, the market is now. It's like going like a crazy. Okay, with that, this is my last slides. I hand over back to Mr. Suresh. Thank you.